Thank you so much, you guys. We really appreciate your patience on that. It's going to be great. My name is Janet. I'm the owner of Avid Bookshop. I really want to thank all of you guys for being here. We can only do events like this because you guys show up, and when you show up, you usually buy something or two things, which allows us to have enough money to keep going on and market more events like this and bring more people in. So it really does make a difference. Even if you're buying just one little thing at a locally owned business, you're making a very real impact on our personal lives and on our community's lives. So thank you so much. I'm really glad you guys are here. We've had a particularly rough time of it lately. One of our booksellers passed away a couple weeks ago, and a lot of you have been so gracious and so kind and so willing to help and so patient with us when we need to close early or change our hours or just be gone here for the day. And so I really wanted to just extend a personal thank you. I know a lot of you knew Graig, who worked here, so thank you so much for that. And one thing that I noticed, of course, we miss him even more every day, but one thing that's really happened in the last few weeks is that I'm getting all of these emails and these phone calls and handwritten cards from people who, like you, just knew him through the bookshop, and I just had no idea that he had affected so many people's lives. And a lot of people in their letters and their notes have emphasized the fact that a business like this is very different from a chain store, from shopping online, or even from a cool corporate store that has 500 locations. It's that people really felt like they get to know each other and they get to know the booksellers here. So, of course, we're heartbroken that we lost him, but I feel really grateful that he touched the lives of many of you and many young customers and many very old customers, too. So thanks so much for being here. I'm going to turn it on over to Deirdre, who is the co-curator of the new Town Revue, and she and Dixon really do an excellent job of bringing attention to really rad, awesome writers and performers that live right here in Athens, Georgia, that maybe some of us ordinarily would never get to hear from. So thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you, Janet. I'm thrilled to have all of you here tonight. Thank you so much for coming. We have three great people tonight. The first will be Johnny Damm. It's right over there. And not Bart in the corner. Bart is awesome. He's always recording for us. But first will be Johnny Damm, and then Caroline Young, and then Peter Alvanos. And thank you all very much. I'll let you go ahead.
All right. I'm going to be roaming back and forth a little bit. But just to give you an idea, I'm reading from a work that's called The Old Man's Illustrated Library. And it sort of uses as a launching off point this great old comic series, Classics Illustrated, which I don't know if anybody here grew up with them. I mean, they started in the 40s. But Classics Illustrated, I mean, the idea is they were pitched to kids, and they were meant to be like kind of like they acted like it was meant to be a sort of entryway to the classics. And every issue ended with this little admonition in this box that says, now that you have read the Classics Illustrated edition, don't miss the added enjoyment of reading the original, obtainable at your school or public library. And it occurs to me, because we're at Avid, that they might also be obtainable here. So. All right. Issues number 5 and 11, Moby Dick and Don Quixote. Herman Melville finds himself crying. To test a theory, he begins working through the times tables. Upon reaching the 7s, he checks back in, only to find that indeed, the tears still come. He considers the theory proven. His eyes glimpse some heartbreak, the rest of him was spared. Herman Melville attempts to recall the previous moment. He gives up when he finds himself thinking of a film he'd once seen, one whose title and even actors he can't recall. All he's sure of is that the film featured a semi-truck and an orangutan. What the ape could have been doing in the truck escapes him, but the image itself is right there. Huge teeth bared in grin, hairy arms thrown into the air as if firing pistols in celebration. The image terrifies him, and it has been appearing with greater frequency, particularly when he's trying to work or to sleep. Herman Melville, to banish the orangutan, thinks of Miguel de Cervantes. He read somewhere that the author began Don Quixote while in debtor's prison. And something about that soothes him. What could be better for a writer than being forced into a featureless box? That's how he thinks of it, in fact. The crook-nosed Spaniard encased in cardboard. Tape the box shut and drop it at the post office. Once it has circumnavigated the earth twice, open the box again to find Miguel de Cervantes replaced by Don Quixote. Herman Melville performs jumping jacks naked, a way of confronting every horror at once. He closes his eyes and feels the jerk of his flesh, starting with a subtle pull of his cheeks, then the sway of his arm flaps, then the bounce of his chest. Finally, he settles his attention on the absurd flopping of his cock and balls. He jumps and jumps. He swings his arms with all his energy. He concentrates on the feeling until the rhythmic undulations could almost be natural. His sagging flesh could almost be the sea. Herman Melville eats a Reuben from the Jewish deli down the street. His clothes are back on, but dots of sweat still gather at his hairline. In the furthest iteration of his fear, he sits in the driver's seat of the semi-truck cab, and the orangutan sits in the passenger seat. They don't look at each other. He simply steers the massive machine and attempts to ignore the seething alien presence beside him. A glob of Russian dressing slides into his beard. Issue 57, Longfellow's The Song of Hiawatha. Walt Whitman brushes his hair 100 strokes. Then he attempts 20 sit-ups. Belly a volcano rising with each jerk of his shoulders off the ground. Walt Whitman believes he can sense the life in his cup of probiotic yogurt. He considers with pleasure the ridiculousness of the word, uttered so often by that short-haired woman on television. In trying to remember the woman's face, what comes instead is a phrase he's heard used so often in reference to Longfellow. America's poet. He chews the yogurt like uncooked corn. Walt Whitman wonders what Longfellow is doing right now. He imagines America's poet strolling through wheat fields. No, running through wheat fields, although men their age shouldn't run, while cheering invisible crowds chant the Song of Hiawatha with militaristic fervor. Wheat brushes the old poet with the tips of a mother's fingers. Somewhere in the apartment, a cell phone begins to ring. Walt Whitman concentrates on that shortest moment of pain that comes with each stroke of the brush through his hair. Practiced, the bristles push through the tangles with only the gentlest of yanks. But this is the sensation he waits for. When he reaches 100 strokes, he begins 100 more. Walt Whitman stares at the numbers on the cell phone screen and wonders if it should mean something. A world of such flimsy constructions, language crafted by advertisers instead of men. This sequence of digits hangs together by only the barest suggestion. Walt Whitman decides to look out the window, but before reaching it, he pauses over the drawn-back curtains. He rolls the sinewy black material between his fingers. There's a word for this, he thinks. There's a word. Walt Whitman picks up the cell phone. He puts the machine to his ear and waits for an answer. Issue 36, Type E. Herman Melville takes a pill to help him sleep. But all it does is flip the switch, illuminating the corners of his eyes. He rolls onto his stomach, and the weight pushes into his already bloated gut, as if his skeleton might burst from his belly button. As if any moment from now, free from follicle, fat, and sinew, his skeleton would begin to speak. Issue 11, Don Quixote. Miguel de Cervantes trembles under the push of cool air. In the bedroom, the only light comes from the flickering of a wireless router. He slips a hand out from the covers and stretches unsteady fingers into the black. Eventually, he manages to sync his blinking with the light. Issues 47, 162, and 163. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Rober the Conqueror, and the Master of the World. Jules Verne can't remember his dreams. He's sure that Honoré de Balzac always remembered his. Someone once told him that Balzac boiled a vat of coffee and donned white robes before sitting down to write each morning. Dozens of pages laid out across a massive table over which the author moves steadily, working on 2 or even 3 novels simultaneously, all while drinking cup after cup of his bitter, oil-thick brew. How, Jules Verne wonders, did Balzac keep from spilling? How many times, Jules Verne wonders, did Balzac have to change his robes? It seems to Jules Verne that the story has been lost in its unfortunate punchline, Balzac's death from caffeine poisoning. Jules Verne had himself spent a rather obscene amount of money on a set of white sheets, and now woke each morning to the terror of their yellowing. Spots particularly appeared on his pillowcase, despite the fact that he rarely drooled and unfailingly slept on his back. Perhaps his bald spot is the culprit. Perhaps his dreams are leaking out this way. He seems to recall remembering his dreams when he had a full head of hair. And this is the last one. Issues 36 and 5, Type P and Moby Dick. Herman Melville wakes to the back of his neck burning. He turns over, and the jag of light finds his eyes. He raises a sheet over his head, only to be enveloped in the humid heat of his own breathing. Herman Melville pulls down the sheet. And gingerly stretches a single foot to the floor. With a huff of effort, the old man confronts the sun. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Johnny. Next up, we have Carolyn Youn. We're gonna turn the lights on a little bit. You can't ring the door.
I can't read the
Can't
door.
do.
I don't know. I don't know how loud I am. Can you hear that? Yeah?
Speak up.
I guess I'd rather just sit down. I'll probably be louder if I can sit down. Because then my lungs are resting on the wooden stool. I think I'm all right. I'm all right, right? It'll force it to happen. All right. There must be a comic book theme going. But actually, these poems I'm about to read have not left my house, which is probably insane. But I somehow felt they would be more real if I put them in a housing of some sort. And this seemed appropriate because this is a comic book about Wonder Woman in crisis. And mostly I'm going to be reading from a sequence called The Price is Right. And there are 4 main characters, all female, arguably in crisis. The year is 1973. So I'll read from 1973, and then, just for my own sanity, I'm going to read one poem from 2013. And now you understand why there's only one poem from 2013. All right. I don't really know where to start. I guess I'll start in what sounds like the obvious place. 11 a.m. ET. Come on down. You are the next defender to contest The Price is Right. Spin still win, invisible windfall. A fortune and fabulous could be yours if you draw a deep breath of certainty in the shape of a numbers game. Exhale your place in the lineup of owners waiting to be possessed. Don't touch that dial, no longer answer to Mrs. So-and-so. Your surname released, we are first name Stasis here. Do you think you can keep this up for an hour? Step into our set dissolves. Your stock boys shelve spaghetti O's and underwire devil's ham. First item goes up for bid. Adrift in a vacuum of weightlessness. A batting eye flashes Whirlpool, Westinghouse, GE, or Diamond Air. A brain game brand name classification strokes the product, produces confusion. Only a mana makes the minute count. Survey says, I am not, a thing to be used. You've come a long way, babe. But a head tilts toward the Magnavox, and you are wedded to the receiver. A magus is as a magpie gathers, mouthful of pearls, and iris contracts with the wave of a manicured grin. You are a whir. And, okay, there's 4 characters. There's Speed Queen, Creamette, Kitty Stew, and Turtle Wax. So I'll try to tell you who's talking when we come through it. So, okay. Speed Queen bids for keeps. Roll out the dizzying tights. I long to be soaked in manicure, silent and flashinating. A bright touch of color, jaunty bow at the toe. Together we are stereophonic sound, sleep synthetic. A slicer that splices almost anything. I touch, you, together, commodity revelates. I want a standard V8 push-button bobbin. I channel number 5 in the 4-ounce size. Sterling silver, mahogany finish, double Dutch styling, waterproof design. I am a house built of maintenance, corrosion-free parts. In this moment, I don't know what to do without 2,000 cans of Alaskan crab meat, exciting sensual textural pile, acrylic and creative color combinations, make me carefree, moth-proof, anti-mildew, allergy-free, automatic fine-tuning, immediate sound, give me oak smoked packed in olive oil. I need tinted windows, Bob, power glide transmission, ornamental armor, white stripe, solid state, all transistor automatic, tired of cooking convenience. No more stooping, bending, or stretching. I need weather-fast cotton unibody construction, Instamount, 3-speed, simulated diamonds. No more clutter or clatter of can I. Give me no drip, ice-tip, tender chunks, lock my life in color. A portable today can be a built-in tomorrow, someone for every room in my home. Make my man a multiplex, replicated roll-top approximate, an automatic clean, oral hygiene. I have always believed the world is all good things rolled into one, wherever candy is sold. I can tingle with a touch of Jean Naté, make a perfect drink every day is more than just furniture. It's different by design, and I long to be better because of it. If I win this, I won't need anything else in the world. Give me anti-friction, roller-bearing, elegant modern design. Give me clothes that relate to my times. C'est la vie, as they say. I freeze, naturally. So this is Cremette. She's a little bit different. Do you know that the heart will keep eating itself when left to its own vices? Like the ribbon worm wrapping around its own neck, Bob, unfit to be tied. I misunderstood the scientist when she claimed you has no borders. My husband left me altered somehow. I never saw him coming. A small dog can run wild in the mental spaces he left behind. Are we playing the high-low game here, Bob? Will an empty heart beat a rent-ready apartment? My dollar is on the Barca-lounger, a marriage built on water. Some say Venus collided in her orbit with an astronaut. She's been moving counter ever since. And then we have Turtle Wax. She wins the bidding, and she's going to play the Golden Road. Mahibit establishes a world of relativity, on the sea exchange without bounds. Napoleon suffered from a fear of cats, thrown mine overboard. Let me tell you a little story, Bob, and you will shiver my December. Born to manage, the storyline, once put upon always. All little girls learn how to say, please, and thank you for watching. I have watched fathers' wives, studied their astronomy, diamonds on fingertips, the flirt of eyelashes, memorized the mother-taught adage, lipstick stains maintain advantage, begging the questionable, execution of gender, the cause. Coming up next, father's claim, career is the cure. For his attention, episodes repeat, mother's face fades to break. Her maxim, never give it all away. Father values a voice over tongue to stir the plot, tuned in, I learn how to spell you. I know, not to touch the remote. Tonight on National Mammal, 6 married women are asked the question, would you date your mate if he were the last man on Earth? Sweethearts get a chance to reset their standards for survival of the species. Marriages shake up when sleeping beauties wake up and freshen their apocalyptic. May the best man win on Doomsdaters. But now, beware the engagement bling, shiny gems shimmer in a drop-dead gorgeous underworld. Silly girls fall for pretty poison in a giant crystal cave. All that glitters is being given away, if the price is right. Get your head in a toxic treasure hunt, now, on National Mammal. All right, we're back to the... There are a lot of commercial breaks during this bidding. You have now been sampled. The bidding returns. Bob's beauty spins backstage, and we momentarily forget her. Another moment passes return, and she is sacrificed in red. Lips, skirt, stiletto heels. Think population control. Bob will not tolerate animal hide. He loves his pets, assigns each one an authentic Mexican name. We recount the pleather principle. Her ride is now on offer. She's a redhead stroking a topaz dream with cream-upholstered pockets. Arms akimbo to the billiard table, we are taking the cue between her fingers. One leg swings above the floor. We remember, neuter is neater. We play tender proposition. High gleam our fluttering eyes. go to turtle wax. Okay. Suppose a rose arose in me. Suppose the world sexed differently. A tiger mother tongue so rough licks the paint from my budding. Man's first kill was easy. A father's son's unholy ghost. Suppose there was no mammary. Suppose the horizon met the bottom line. Suppose a gap in the middle. Better a pirate than a prostitute, I commit to asexual Congress. Ladies are liabilities on the lawn of goods in exchange. How can I comb Constitution from an era that will not write? Breast priced to reduction. Bob experiences his world, lets women decorate it. I pass to cremette. Cliffhangers isn't ready. Okay, cremette will play Plinko. A pin hammer reverberates, a safety pin finishes, an orgasm cracks organism. Crowd roars in display. Plinko means I love you, hitting bottom. To what random variable then does a heart respond? If I move 3 steps to the right, 2 steps to the other right, a mass amount of sense. In an independent trial, 4 chambers pump away while mine lie in stasis. In joint, we've had random successes, as Bernoulli recorded his broken record, but the bed can't recall any winnings. This is not breaking even. Our no globe of ecstasy, shaken by probability, failure withers reliant under a bedpost pull. We go down, we go down, we create something together. I say, help me sell our story as I drop the chip overhead. He loves me not, he loves me not, me loves he, me loves me thought, he loves we. He knots my love, he knots me, I love him not, he nuts me, he numbs we naughty, does she, who covets others' love be forgiven, not who leaves me, sees weathering of dowry. His cow is not set free, me been bought, he bargains easily. His love me shakes, I fake we break, the casing seating wheeze me. His fade to sleep seems altogether easy, but nobody doesn't love warily. Okay. This will be the last one from The Price is Right, and it's Kitty Stew. And I was thinking she's playing a game called the Squeeze Play. Brains her legs, tongues with arms, sees with suction, cups with eyelids, sinks to a bottom unaided. To outwit, to overtake, to undercut, to indigest. She is stream think, shape shift, bird beak, squirt inky, bulbous palate arranger, squeezing life through the eye of an American dime. Cephaloparty of one, dwell in the deep, steep containers, ships, cave, shells. It is the house that attaches to others. Entrapped, she will shriek like a cat in heat, measuring time alone. The act of mating is a curtain fall. She is evidence, intelligence is driven to the singular. Her being only moved by you will know when stirred from the outside in. Joining is an amusement and a presence born, spoken with one's whole being. She knows winning is a cause of loss, boxes intimations, 3 hearts pump, introverted communion. I, you, we need her before she strains the it of us. Okay, that's all the commodity I can take. All right. My spiritual smudge stick. I'm going to leave you with one poem, 2013. May it be a good year. This is called The Laws of Touching. Offer amethyst to the cedar tree. Lean into her dying limb. Winnow the web from forest to bedroom door. Spider your widow the way you do. Meditate on the red spot. If snow whites into the grit a light, fall into, with child innocence, ask, am I assailant? Tender talons, rake rising earth, apple into her flesh hollows. Ignite a hearth of we, move into the stir, a root between soul and soil. Winter within her curve. Can you be no more resistance? Can the manuscript, the spirit made real between the breath and the placement of hands, circle skies nothing? Measure the breadth between loving and losing, torches or touches, a turning and tuning one world to another. We are only this far apart now. Can you chance a receiver? Spring a volley of arrows, thread slivering into fullness. Commence with breath and the placement of hands. Have the heart open, sky robin's breast. Meditate on the red spot. Okay.
Thank you, Carolyn. That was lovely. And it's her birthday. So.
I'm nursing a hangover from my birthday.
2 days ago?
Yeah, 2 days
2
ago.
days ago. Lastly, we have Peter Alvanos. Peter's the frontman of Fabulous Bird. He's played with Bill Doss and Nikki Sutton and the Sunshine Fix and Jim White, and he's the current drummer of Elf Power, who's currently working on a new album. But I booked Peter a while ago for this new Town Revue, and when I put the invite up on Facebook, one of the first people that responded to it was Craig. And when Craig passed,
I decided to play the show in his honor.
Yeah.
He was an amazing person. If you knew him, you know how wonderful he was. Some of the things that blow my mind about this guy is that he was in a lot of experimental bands where you improvise. I can't think of anything that is more courageous than knowing that you have a show and not having any idea what you're gonna play at that show. That's crazy. Like, I've played these songs hundreds, maybe thousands of times. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. So I can't imagine that. Also, I would like to say, someone that's improvising, there's not time to think, there's not time to judge or label what you're doing. And you just do it. He was capable of doing it because he mastered his instrument. I don't use that term lightly. When I saw him play, I didn't see a guitar. It was an extension of who he was, and it was an interface. It was an interface that, in the purest form, that translated his feelings and his thoughts into sound waves. And he was just an amazing person, an awesome person. If I had to pick an ambassador, he would be the ambassador, because I mean, he was just vital and a colorful person, a wonderful person. So I played this set in his honor. I was going to turn the volume up, there's not a lot. Someone is a waste of time. The very thought of that, I refuse. Do yourself a favor, pass it this one. You have no idea what you're in for. Getting down that road, time to think that common sense come over you. This time I learned my lesson. This time I'm amazed at you. This time I learned my lesson. This time I'm amazed at you. This time you believe in yourself. You were in for the long way, but you came undone that rage. dagger straight into your heart. Laid some flowers on your grave. There's nothing left to hang on but your song. This time I learned my lesson. This time I'm amazed with you. This time I learned my lesson. This time I'm amazed with you. This time I learned my lesson. This time I learned my lesson. This time I learned my lesson. This time. Thank you for coming out. I'd just like to reiterate what Janet said. We can't do it unless we have an audience. We want to be heard, and honestly, my cats are sick and tired of it, I think. I mean, I played for them so much, and they're such good sports, but I think they were like, come on, man, get out and play. So thank you for coming out. Thank you, Janet and Deirdre, and now everyone for having me to play this. This is an awesome place. Please support it. I'm going to support it more, and I'm going to join the book club. My mother wouldn't believe it. I hated reading as a child, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. So anyway, I'm going to play a couple more if that's cool. Cool. There's a place I can go when everything goes wrong. It's a book or a hook to my favorite song. How deep we can go, how deep we can go, how deep we can go, how deep we can go. She was mine for a time. Love you more than I'll ever show. 23 into me. Love you more than I'll ever show. How deep we can go. 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 We can go. I'm gonna do one more, and this one's titled "Bless Me." And when I wrote this song, I had a mentor in college a long time ago, and I was an aspiring actor, and he was an awesome mentor, someone that he really believed in me, and he passed away, and I had him in mind when I wrote this, but sadly, the bittersweet thing is it's awesome. I wrote this song that I really love, but the sad thing is that I've been playing it for a bunch of memorials. Graig obviously being one, and Bill Doss and a couple of other guys here now. Nikki Sutton, he used to come visit and play. Ted Hafer. So that's the bittersweet. It's like, awesome, I wrote the song, but I guess someone said, well, if you wrote the song, you're going to have a reason to play it, so I'm going to have to accept that. This one's called Bless Me. where you would like. Did already mention the time like hanging out in this path that we call heaven. You can contact them 24/7. Bless me, protect me, and guide me with all your loving. Bless me, protect me, guide me with all your loving. Bless me, protect me, and guide me with all your loving. Bless me, protect me.
Thank you for coming out. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter and Caroline and Johnny and Beth Alvarado for doing the flyers, and Avid. We're New Town Revue. We do this about every 6 weeks. We bring together Athens writers and musicians. If you'd like to perform with us, probably just find me or Deirdre tonight. And is Avid still open for selling books?
Yeah, we're here till 8 o'clock.
Okay, so buy some books, and thanks for coming, y'all.